Welcome to Courtney on Health, and actually welcome Max also. What we're going to talk about today is how to exercise while sitting at your desk, because that's what a lot of us are doing during the pandemic.
Right, we're sitting a lot and we're working at home, not necessarily in an office space, although some people are. And you can have issues with your back. And I know Courtney and has great ideas and tips about it. The one thing I'll remember is an expression we used to have in Palm Springs when I used to visit my brother, and we'd look at the mountains and we'd be in chairs looking beautifully, and we'd go, "Sitting is good." But Courtney, my question is sitting good all the time?
No. As humans, we're not designed to sit all that much, right? Certainly we can sit every once in a while, and then we're going to talk today about how to sit well. But we're really designed to move around a little bit more. And with people working long days, whether you're working in an office or you're in your home, it's really hard to continually focus on good back care, back health, if you're sitting improperly at your desk and at your workstation. So hopefully some folks can walk away today with some tips on how to take a look at their space at home or in their office, because eventually we're going to go back to work in offices, at least some of us. So this needs to carry with you when you go back to, working in whatever your usual space is. And it's hopefully going to be helpful with regard to the stretches that we're doing, those things you can do hopefully on a daily basis to keep your back strong, limber, and we'll talk a little bit about eye strain as well, but things we can do, all of us can do every day and should be doing every day.
Well, I know, I'm sitting at a desk now, but the question is, how should I be sitting at this desk? I mean, my feet they're kind of on a bar on the bottom of the desk as opposed to flat. I mean, what position is best? I mean, what's going to give you the least back pain, and how can you give us some info?
Sure, absolutely. And so first of all, let me make a comment about the chairs we have, because not everybody's got a fancy, ergonomically designed Herman Miller chair, and nor do you need one, because you can do some tricks with an average chair at home. So for example, back to your point, Maxine, if you're sitting in a seat and your toes are barely touching the floor, you need to raise them so that always think about 90-degree angles, right? So if I'm going to pull back a little bit here so you can see what I'm talking about, my feet and quadricep angle is about 90 degrees. My back and my upper legs are at about 90 degrees. Generally, I mean, you don't need to sit there and bust out with anything to measure, but loosely that's where you should be sitting. So you don't want your knees up like this, nor do you want to be on tippy toe, meaning that your seat is very, very high. So you can use things like a step stool, a book, a really heavy book, thick book underneath your feet to raise your feet if needed. You don't need to buy special foot raisers, but they do exist and they're very helpful. So you can use that. If you don't have a seat that has lumbar support in it, you can do things like roll up a towel, a small towel, and position that in your lower back space to create that support in your low back area. So you want that to start with in terms of how should I be sitting, in my seat. And a good chair allows you to be able to rest and relax a little bit with that support at 90 degrees we mentioned. But if not, that rolled up towel will certainly help. Your hands, okay, are going to be, again, it all comes down to those 90-degree angles, roughly 90 degrees. So if you look at your forearm to upper arm angle, roughly 90 degrees. They do sell gel pads for people who have issues with wrists, carpal tunnel and things like that, to help with wrist positioning so that you're not hyperextending in one direction or another. So that's helpful. You want to be about 20 inches away from your computer screen. Again, you don't need to bust out a measuring tape, right? You can just eyeball this a little bit. What you're trying to avoid is sitting on top of your screen like this, or being so far away that once you're starting to strain and look, you're putting your neck and your back out of alignment to look at your screen. So it's designed to keep you from having to lean forward and reduce eye strain from being on top of the screen. interestingly enough, I know for Zoom calls, I think they said the best angle is if your computer screen is higher, so the screen is like looking down at you. For best ergonomics at your desk, it's actually the other way around. You want your screen to be a little bit lower than your head. So I'll let everybody figure out their best space for that. So maybe for Zoom calls, if you need to, you bring it up. But for the best back care and best eye alignment, reducing eye strain would be for that screen to be a little bit lower than your head. So pretty much where this tablet is right now in terms of being lower than my chin. So not having a seat that can't be adjusted for some people might be a challenge, but there are ways around it with, like I said, books that can elevate you either under your feet or even sitting under, putting it, you literally sit on top of it.
How would you get your Zoom? How would you change your laptop? How would you make it, unless you put books under it to change the, because right now mine's flat, yours is. I mean, it's certainly not up here, unless I lift it up. How would I get that level?
Well, I think books are everybody's friend on many, many levels.
Right. These days.
And also raising up the screen to a height that would be appropriate. However, they do sell, I'm always hesitant to send people out to go buy things, but they sell specifically for a screen, whether it be a tablet or a laptop, adjustable, so it can sit flat. It basically sits in a rack. So it can sit flat, it can sit on an angle, so you can tilt it forward, you can tilt it back, you can raise it up, lots of different options. Those are probably the least expensive options that might be out there. You'll see that standing desks are becoming super popular right now. We actually have one here in our main office in our home. So they allow for quite literally working at your desk, and you can put it on top of an existing desk. That's one option.
Right.
Or you can, it's got a hydraulic sort of lift to it, and you adjust it, and then you can stand so that you can get up out of that seat for part of your day. Because, sitting all those hours, 6, 7, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, we're just not designed to sit that long. So standing desks are very popular.
One question, Courtney. How long should you sit at one period if you can do it? Should you get up every half hour, every hour, walk around the desk, walk around the room, do something, stretch?
I don't think there's any hard and fast rule, but I think generally every 90 minutes, if possible, would be ideal. Now that doesn't mean you need to go and kill a half hour of time. It's literally standing, giving a good stretch, maybe taking a lap around. I encourage with a lot of my clients sometimes, if you're able to, take a call while you're actually walking around rather than just sitting at your desk. So if it's not something you need to be in front of a slide deck, so if you're not presenting and you're more of a participant and just verbal feedback, take a lap around the house if you can. Certainly get outside if you're able to, but every 90 minutes generally. There is, with regard to eye strain, however, most ophthalmologists will recommend this. It's the 20-20-20 rule, which is every approximate 20 minutes, if you've been sitting in front of a screen or a laptop, you look out about roughly 20 feet for about 20 seconds. And that should be really throughout the day as often as you can remember. And that's all designed to reduce eye strain from looking at a screen too much. So it's kind of simple to remember, 20-20-20.
That's great for, people in the tech world because they're looking at their screen all the time. I mean, software developers, engineers. I mean, my son is in that group and he had to get glasses. And I think he thinks it's because of the eye strain. Because it's just constantly looking at this screen of numbers and letters and, different colors, and it's weird. But that's a good tip to know that the eye strain is important also. I mean, so aside from, your chair at your desk, what about if you're just relaxing and watching TV or, how should you be sitting? Should you be slouching? Should you be, how do you get comfortable and have no back issues with that, because everyone's watching Netflix and everything else now, so.
Right, right. So, I'm certainly not expecting everybody to sit at 90-degree angles while they're watching, their favorite, show. But you really want to make sure that you're slouching. We all know this generally is one of the worst things you can do for your posture. You always want to try and keep your core as strong as you can, but we also want to relax and chill, right? So put your feet up. Anytime you can elevate your feet, to get some more return blood flow is going to be a good thing. So if you're able to sit comfortably, again, not slouching, but comfortably, and use pillows are your friend, to give you some more lumbar support, get your feet off the ground, and elevated is certainly very helpful. And try as often as you can not to cross your legs. One of the worst things you could do, not only for back health, but for circulation as well. If you look at what happens to your hips are automatically put out of alignment when you cross your legs. So it's one of the strongest tips you can have to try on a daily basis, just not to cross your legs. If you want to cross your feet just at the ankles, that's a little bit better, but really trying to avoid crossing your legs entirely for overall back strength.
Yeah, Courtney, Max, we've run out of time. Hate to cut you up because it's great information, but we'll cover some things next week or.
Courtney.
Some quick stretches?
Yeah, quick stretches.
Okay.
Definitely quick stretches, yes.
Okay, the hip opener, it's fantastic. 1 foot over, okay, cross 1 foot over your knee. Do it while you're sitting at your desk. Come as far forward as you possibly can. For everybody, this is going to be a little bit different. It feels wonderful. It's great at stretching the lower back and opening up that hip. You can do a modified down dog. A lot of people know what downward facing dog is. This is going to be the half down dog. Get the chair, okay? You can even do it while you're on a conference call. Reach forward, nose to the ground. It's a wonderful stretch that opens up your lower back and stretches those muscles in the backs of your leg. It's amazing. So those are just 2 quick ones you can do. And of course, get those fingertips up, stretch out your shoulders and your back, and lean from side to side in your chair. If you can just fire off those 3 stretches a couple of times a day, you'll immediately feel the stretching and how it releases tension and opening up, releasing some of the tension in your back muscles.
That's awesome. Great tips. I felt better even for that 2 seconds. So where can people get info on you? I know on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
That CLG Wellness is my Instagram account, and I post all things related to food, wellness, exercise, stretching, and staying strong.
That's awesome. We're going to talk a little bit about maybe food immunity and like holiday eating next week or something to that effect. Courtney, these are great tips. I know I just was educated, so that's awesome.
Thank you.
Catch us at malcolmpresents.com and theManyShadesOfGreen.com, and follow us also at TM Shades of Green. And thanks for having great information.
Thanks for having me. Be well.
Thanks a lot, Courtney. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.